Nintendo controllers. So I'm gonna start off with the GameCube controller. I probably have the least amount of play time with the GameCube controller. This when the GameCube came out, I was more of a PlayStation, PlayStation guy at the time, and getting older, Nintendo, with the exception of Zelda, was seeming more like a kiddie device to me. So I kind of steered away from GameCube during its time. So, and also when I did get one, I hated the controller. Like I can't. I know a lot of people, like it has nice triggers, but other than that, this button layout, it's wild and crazy. I can't I can't do it. So this is my least favorite. Like I said, I'm not really gonna number them. I'm just gonna talk about them. And so right here we have the Wii U controller. This one, for the most part, when they came out with this is by now like a basic type of layout. Very comfortable in the hands, and it's light also. Compared to the PlayStation 3 controller, is much it just feels like a lot wider. Not really much going on with the triggers on here. It's Nintendo. I think the shooting games are more so. Where I say the shooting games are peak on the actual Wii, because you can attach the Wiimote with and use like light guns. There wasn't really heavy shooters. Nobody's gonna pass up playing a shooter on a PlayStation to play on the Wii U. So I guess they figured they didn't need to do anything special with the triggers. All right, that's out the way. We got the Super Nintendo. So the Super Nintendo, I would say, is my favorite Nintendo controller of all time. When they came out with this, I want to say this was one of the first controllers with like bumpers. This was a game changer for me. I never had any trouble just playing games all day long with this controller. Never worry about nothing slipping, playing Killer Instinct or Mario, any type of platformer. I never even had one of these controllers go bad. So this is a perfect 10 out of 10 controller for me personally. And right here, the original Nintendo controller. This one right here, the edges used to irk me right here. Like, cause I used to try to hold it like this, and you can get like I used to get like blisters after a while of like doing this. It's good for what it was at the time, but like if I do play a Nintendo game, I would much rather use the top loader controller, because the top loader controller is has the curves, has the circles, kind of like the Super Nintendo controller. But yeah, for the time it was alright, not the worst. And then I had to do this separate from the standard Wii U controller, because you could play. It's dusty in my basement, lots of dust that's collecting this thing. This feels great also. Like I have no complaints really about this the Wii Pad or whatever, man. It has the features on it, sound, man. This is ultra comfortable. This is way more comfortable than the Switch. Holding the Switch tablet, in my opinion. Let me go to the Wii. The Wii, the nunchuck system or whatever, it took me a long time to get used to. I didn't know what they were going for. I hated having to take this off on certain games and turn it sideways. This is the most uncomfortable way to play a game in gaming history. It just is. I don't care what type of control you can throw at me. This was horrible. But you could do so many things with it. So like mess with your sword on Skyward Sword and other games. And you have these attachments too. So like I have attachments, like I have a gun attachment. You set it right there. You can point, and you kind of hold it like this, and you move around. You know, with those light gun games, that was top tier. But other than that, this was a horrible way to, play Mario and stuff like that. Like it just was. You had to have one of the what they call them, the Wii Pro controllers or whatever. Much more prefer those than the controls that came with it. And so we got the Switch, the Joy-Cons. You know, everybody knows about the Joy-Con drift. I haven't had that issue personally with the Switch. I have had that issue with the Switch Lite, and I did a video on how to take that apart and switch the Joy-Con out. But kind of the same thing as with the Wii. Like some games, you know, this isn't mandatory. You can go buy another, controller, a standard controller. But like, I guess this is convenient where you can just take it off. And that's the only forgiving part that I would say about this is that you can, take this off and turn it into two different controllers, versus the Wii, where you can just have to hold it sideways and you're limited. I feel like this is a better sacrifice. It's like, all right, I want to play two players, so I'm going to take this off of the controller station and play some family games or something like that. So that's a plus with that. Right here, this is probably the controller I have the most hours in, is the Nintendo 64 controller. I hated this when it first came out. My god brother had I had a PlayStation 1 and he had a Nintendo 64. So when I would go over his house, he would always tease me about the loading times. Oh, look at this, no loading times and blah blah blah. And I could not get the hang of like moving this around like with Mario. But eventually, once I got my own Nintendo 64, I became a pro at using this controller. It's like still to this day, if I'm playing a Nintendo 64 game, I got like a little USB attachment so I can use this on a computer. I have to use one of these. There's no other way around it. I can't use anything else when playing a Nintendo 64 controller. Star Fox, Zelda, Mario 64, Conker's Bad Fur Day, GoldenEye, Turok, list goes on and on. I have to use one of these even when I'm emulating Nintendo 64 games. So, yeah, I got the little memory cartridge back here. Kind of how like the Dreamcast did also later on in the game. But yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I am going to do a short also about these controllers and going to link this video. Peace out.